Thanks for joining us. We start with the news that Somali Al-Shabab militants have confirmed that they hijacked a bus in Kenya and killed 28 non-Muslim passengers after finding they were unable to recite verses from the Quran. The bus, which was on its way to the Kenyan capital Nairobi, was seized around 50 kilometres from the town of Mandera near the Somali border. The Kenyan Interior Ministry says government troops have now destroyed the camp used by the attackers and that their operation against them continues. Earlier, one of the survivors spoke to BBC World News. Ahmed Mahat boarded the bus at 3 o'clock in the morning in Somalia. He spoke to my colleague James Menendez and explained what happened next.
When the gunmen first attacked, I think their main aim was to hijack the bus, but the driver decided to speed off.
That was an eyewitness testimony there. So now let's take a closer look at Al-Shabab. It is a militant group that's based in Somalia and it's believed to have between 7,000 and 9,000 fighters. Now the name Al-Shabab means the youth in Arabic, and Al-Shabab claim to be affiliated with Al-Qaeda. They've had a long-running battle with the Somali government, which is backed by troops by the African Union. Now, the group has carried out 135 attacks in Kenya since it sent its forces into neighbouring Somalia in 2011. The most deadly was in September last year when 67 people were killed in the Westgate Mall attack in Nairobi. And at least 90 people have been killed in attacks along the Kenyan coast just this year alone. Well, a little while ago I spoke to our correspondent in Nairobi, Anne Soy, who told me Al-Shabab's action appears to be in response to events in Mombasa.
Have now claimed responsibility, and they're saying that this is vengeance for what has been happening in Mombasa over the past week. Kenyan security forces raided 3 mosques. They have closed them down now, and they were able to recover crude weapons, including explosives like hand grenades and also teaching materials. These mosques apparently were thought to be training youths there in extremist views, and so the Al-Shabaab have said that they're standing with those Muslims who have been in those mosques, and they are also avenging for those who were arrested by the Kenyan security forces during that raid.
And can you shed any light on these reports by the Kenyan Defence Forces that they have now retaliated themselves on the camp of those attackers?
Well, we have seen that update from the Kenyan security forces. The camp is at a place called Gedondawe on the Somalia side of the border, just near Mandera. This is an area that has been in focus, but the local leaders have felt that the national government has not been doing enough to enhance security in that area.
And Soy there. Well, let's get a little bit more analysis with Stig Hansen. He's the author of Al-Shabab in Somalia and a global expert on security in the Horn of Africa. He joins me from the Norwegian capital, Oslo, where he's a university professor as well. Thanks very much for being there for us. It appears as though Al-Shabab, as they lose territory in Somalia, they are perhaps gaining strength, gaining confidence in Kenya itself.
Indeed, it seems like if Shabab is vanquished inside Somalia, if you see that as a thought experiment, then they will still have parts of their organizations inside Somalia now. Inside Kenya now. So this is also now a Kenyan problem. It's not only a Somalia problem anymore.
Stig Hansen, really appreciate your insights. Thanks very much for speaking to us here on BBC World News.